We left this earlier this morning. We indicated that we were continuing to do some door-to-door work out in the village of Wales. We were going to be searching wooded areas and some field areas. And we also talked a little bit about a retention pond that was out between the Catherine's residence and Catherine's school. And since we had dive training going on today anyway, we decided to move that training to that location so we could conduct a search of that, just to kind of eliminate it. We had no information to believe that the pond was relevant, but as long as we were doing dive training anyway, we felt it was a good idea to make use of that resource, and so we've done that. So we've completed the searches in that retention pond, and we did not find anything of evidentiary value there. We completed the foot search of the area as well around Catherine's home and the high school. We did not find anything suspicious, so we have that completed. Another bit of information that we learned today is that we have been reporting that Catherine was believed to be in possession of a teal backpack. We have recovered that backpack. It was in her locker, so apparently she did not take that home. So that was erroneous information that we had. So that teal backpack that we believed that Catherine was in possession of is actually not in her possession. It was found in her school locker. We have located her bicycle. It was abandoned, and we're processing the scene of that location right now for evidence, and we're going to be doing some canvassing in the area. I'm making a conscious decision not to disclose the area right now of that bicycle for some investigative purposes. We may release that location later, but for now I'd ask that you respect the integrity of our investigation, and I really don't want to talk about the location of the bicycle. We're continuing to follow up on every lead that we get coming into our communication center. I'd like to again announce that 262-446-5090 is the Waukesha County Communications Center. That's the number that we're manning 24 hours a day. All calls that go into that center, we're taking all of that information, and it's going to a dedicated deputy sheriff who is screening all of those tips. We're prioritizing those tips, and we're moving them through the Detective Bureau for follow-up. And we've been successfully able to either validate some of the information to some extent, not necessarily very helpful, to having tips that really we've been able to discount and not consider in the investigation as it proceeds. So for now, we found the bicycle, and we're processing that scene. We are hopeful that we're going to get some information regarding that portion of the investigation. We would like to continue to ask people in southeastern Wisconsin to keep your eyes open for Catherine. We've circulated the photographs. I hope that you'll feel compelled to show the photographs at every opportunity. We are now in the third day from when Catherine was last seen. I think it's important that we don't lose the story. I think it's important that we continue to look for Catherine, that we keep our eyes open for Catherine, and we report anything that you feel may be connected with this case to our agency. We've got probably about 16 detectives working on this case right now as we speak, and so we are following up with everything that we can, and we're working closely with some of our law enforcement partners to try to develop any further information. But we don't have a lot of information, and we really appreciate your help in sending the message.
Inspector, can you tell us what time the bicycle was found, and were there any signs of foul play?
We don't have any immediate signs of foul play. Again, we have to process the scene, and as was once said, we don't know what we don't know, so I want to be really careful about talking about that. But we don't have any overt signs of foul play right now, and the bicycle was recovered this afternoon.
Inspector, are you checking in with local sex offenders living in that area or the area of where she would have ridden her bike?
We are aware of those circumstances. I really don't want to comment about what we're doing with that right now.
Was it police who found the bicycle or somebody walking by?
We received a citizen report, that a bicycle was found, and they gave us the location. We went out and we recovered the bicycle, and we've done some work with that, and we're satisfied that this is the bicycle that we've been looking for. So as a result of the work that you're doing and the result of people paying attention to what's going on around them, we've got a potential lead that we're going to be investigating.
Is it clear how long the bicycle had been there?
It doesn't appear that it was there very long.
Can you talk about the condition of the bicycle then, because it wasn't there that long?
I think it's been there. I don't want to speculate. Again, we haven't done any analysis on it to the extent that I'd like to, and I really don't want to get into some of those investigative matters that might compromise where this investigation is going to go. We don't know what happened to Catherine. I don't know if she's left voluntarily. I don't know if she's left against her will. I don't know. So because I don't know where this case is ultimately going to lead, in some cases I don't necessarily know how important or what is exactly important regarding some of these details. So we're really being very careful, and I know that everyone's interested, and I appreciate that. The family appreciates everyone's concern, and I really don't want to jeopardize that by perhaps disclosing too much information that wouldn't necessarily help our case, but down the road could jeopardize some of our investigations. So
She has family in other states. Has anyone else been in contact with her since that morning that she texted a friend saying she was riding her bike to school?
We have no information that any one of her family members have been in contact with her, and we've been in contact with those family members. Thank you.
Inspector, what do you...
Disclosing the situation or where you found it, can you describe the kind of area? Was it a wooded area? Was it a rural area? Was it a neighborhood?
I'd prefer not to at this time.
Inspector, what do you say to parents who are rightly so concerned? Do they have reason to be concerned right now? Is there a stalker targeting teenage girls?
I don't have any evidence to believe that this is the result of a stalker targeting teenage girls. We're still trying to figure out what happened. We don't know. There is still a chance that Catherine has left on her own. We don't know. We don't have enough information, which is why I'm so grateful for you and all the work you're doing, helping keep this story alive and keeping the photograph of Catherine in everybody's memory and reminding them of the clothing description that we have, without including the backpack now that we know has changed. We're working closely with the family. We're keeping them apprised of the leads that we have, and we need information. And this is a difficult case for us because we're really at a loss of having good concrete information, which leads to a lot of my inability to be really specific about some things because I have to keep our avenues open to consider all possibilities.
Did she have any contact with anybody on the internet or social media?
Okay, I'm sorry. As far as the internet and social media, we are investigating all of that. I don't want to comment on the exact details of the follow-up, but we certainly are looking at that, yes?
Investigator, with this being day 3 that she's missing, what are you doing as far as a search? Is there an organized search that's going on? Many people are wondering about that today.
Well, today we spent the greater part of the day searching the immediate area where she was last known to be. We're going to be conducting further follow-up on the location of the bicycle tonight. That's already begun. That's already being worked on. It's difficult to just search southeast Wisconsin without a starting point, and that's certainly what we want to do. And again, I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to collect the information that we have, validate what we can, eliminate those pieces of information that we don't have, that we don't feel is necessarily relevant at this time, or need to prioritize differently. Again, I just left our briefing meeting. There's 16 detectives in that room. We've got a lot of people working on this. We're collecting a lot of information. We have collected some videotapes from some businesses, and so we are obviously taking time to look all those videos over very carefully to see if we have any images of Catherine. So there's a lot of work to do. We're compiling everything we can, and again, we appreciate everyone's interest. And again, I'd like to give the number again, 262-446-5090.
Will you resume your search tomorrow? I mean, considering what you found today?
Well, we're still searching today, and we're going to keep working this case tomorrow and beyond.
So you're still searching tonight? And
We're still working tonight. We've still got our full crew on this tonight.
How best can the public help?
Well, again, and it sounds like I'm kind of beating the drum here, Terry, and I appreciate that. They can best help by keeping their eyes open. They can best help by refreshing their memory of what Catherine looks like. They can help by, paying attention to any young girls that are alone. Look in the when they're out and about, looking in the public area. Pay attention to what's around them, and familiarize yourself with those descriptions that we provided. Familiarize yourself with what Catherine looks like. And please be willing to give us a call, even if you're not sure. We're certainly going to be looking at facts that are that we're going to have to discount down the road, and I don't mind doing that. I'll look at 100 facts that we have to discount to find the one that's going to lead us to the next step in this investigation. Last question, please.
Have you been looking at or had access to her Facebook account, Twitter account?
We have computer forensics people that are looking at all of those issues.
Have you been able to determine a rough idea of her path to school that day, and whether people on a certain highway or a certain street may want to especially refresh their memories as to whether they might have spotted her on that bicycle?
Well, we have canvassed the area that the route is contained within. So we've done that yesterday. We've done a pretty thorough search of the entire area on foot. We used the local fire department. We used our deputy sheriffs that are there. We've had K-9 out there. We've had deputies on ATVs. We've really saturated that area to the extent that I think we're comfortable moving on at this point. It doesn't mean that we're never going to go back to an area that we may have looked at, because as new information comes up, we're always going to be willing to revisit an area that we may have missed, because this business of finding lost children, as we all know, is an imperfect practice. So again, I really appreciate everyone's time. Thank you very much, and please respect the family's desire to kind of keep this as private as they can. They're going through a very difficult time. We are meeting with them on a regular basis, and they are very, very grateful for all of the work that you're doing and all of the work that is being done by folks that are willing to call in tips. So thank you very much.
Okay.